All right. How's it going, everyone? Good to see you here today in our chat. Tim is going to be coming in now, I believe, at he's going to be coming in now at 3. So we just wanted to get started a little bit earlier, just to kind of get the stream going, so you guys can share it with people and all of that good stuff. But I can showcase a little bit of the unplug tag. Um, yeah, so I'll showcase a little bit. If you guys have any questions, make sure to put them in the chat so we can go over it. And if something were to happen, since time frames and all that good stuff, hopefully everything is okay. But I haven't heard from him, but that's okay. He'll probably be coming in anytime soon. Sorry for that wobble right there. But if you have any questions about the unplug tag, put them in the chat and we'll get to it. So yeah, I'm really excited about this product. So this is the unplug tag. I've had this for a while now, but it only used to work on Android, so it didn't work on iOS, and now it works on iOS. So it's going to be very convenient for those of you who do have iOS and that want iOS. So it eliminates a lot of distractions. It's an NFC tag essentially, but it works in conjunction with the app to make everything possible in a more secure way and non-distracted way, and all of the good stuff that comes from having an app that controls, or a physical object that is able to block some of the other things. Let me see if I'm not missing anything here. Just kind of like double checking. Yep, I sent him the invite, so he should be coming in anytime. But I can showcase a couple of things to you in the meantime. Glad you're here. Glad that we get to see a little bit of the functionality. So, sadly, about 2 days ago, on Sunday actually, my phone dropped. So this is an iPhone, but I was recording a couple of things and it actually dropped. So you'll see a lot of problems with it, but we're gonna figure it out. And not only that, you can see the functionality and how it works, so it's not that big of an issue. So as you see right there, this is my phone. And again, it does have nothing because I don't use this as often, but here is the example I'm going to show you. So let me just give me 1 second. I'm going to put my curtains or my slider up so you guys don't see a ton of reflection on the other side, but I'll be right back in just 1 second. Oh, and by the way, let me know if you can hear me. I just want to make sure that the audio levels are fine. So thank you for that. I'll be right back. Yeah, it got a little darker. That's fine. Maybe I'll bring my light and stuff like that. But I can show you how this works, and so you guys can have an idea. Maybe even I can like embellish myself with the camera just a little bit. Let's see. Effects. Maybe I can bring touch up. Oh no. I think that's for my skin. Highlights. I have this new camera that, oh no, that is blowing the highlights. I'll probably just bring a light in just a second, so that way we can like have better stability. But here's the phone, right? This is the device. As you see, my screens are right there moving because I just moved them. But this is the device, and I have blocked Reddit. So right here is Reddit, and I have blocked it. So if I try to open Reddit, it's going to say you can't. Darn it, right there. So boom, it says Reddit is blocked. Of course, there's that. Sadly, the digitizer it still works, but you can't see it well. But it says Reddit still blocked. Go into Unplug in order to, kind of like get through it. Ooh, what happened? Something happened. Something happened. Oh, I'm back in my regular camera. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, so again, it says Reddit is blocked. It says Reddit cannot be used. So in order to, oh, Tim is here. Perfect. So in order to use it, now we're going to close this app. We're going to open the Unplug app. and it tells me, hey, do you want to access apps? That's a little bit too much brightness. Maybe, let's see, right there. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it well, but right there it says, let me see if I can. No, it's not cooperating, even though it's a nice camera. Let me see if I can put the focus somewhere else. Let's see. Oh, right there. Maybe. No. Nope. Nope. It's not working very well. Anyways, it says that you cannot access it essentially, and in order to access your apps, you will click right there, access apps, and then you will need to use the tag in order to access the apps. And now, as you see, it tells me I have 5 minutes. Of course, you can customize this, but I customize it for 5 minutes. Now I can go on Reddit and I can read all the posts and stuff like that. But we have Tim here, and I'm glad that I started just a little bit so we can get the algorithm going. But if you guys have any questions, we'll get to it. I'll probably be opening my screen again. All right, Tim.
Hey,
How's
Jose,
it going?
nice to see you again.
Hey,
Are we
nice to see
live?
you as well. Yes, we are live. I was just testing a couple of things and showing everybody how it works.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a little glimpse. But let me get my light, my nice natural light. And why don't you tell everybody again a refresher who you are, what's Unpluq all about, and how did you guys make it to iOS?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone, my name is Tim. I'm one of the co-founders of Unplug. And then at Unplug, I'm working on the product mainly. So, um, yeah, Unplug is a startup that started out of a problem that I had with my co-founder in university, where we just got distracted by our smartphone so much that we wanted to change that and do something about it. And yeah, Jose has already featured us a couple of times on the channel, so I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but we're like always excited to talk again because yeah, we're thinking we really like what Jose is doing, trying to bring more awareness to yeah, basically the different products that are out there to help you to find a better balance in your screen time or in the way you use technology, right? So
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely. And yeah, we have featured Unplug in the past with the Unplug key, which you had to insert. And now you guys have moved to the Unplug tag, which is an NFC tag, essentially, correct?
yeah, yeah, that's correct. So, yeah, we first started out actually as a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, where we launched the first product, the Unplug Key, and later we developed the Unplug app, which is yeah, also a product that helps people to become more mindful about how they use their phone. But we do we wanted to broaden the way we can reach people with Unplug. So we've also built a solution that works with software only, and that's the Unplug app. And then the Unplug tag is the yeah, optional hardware add-on that works similar to the to the Unplug key. So
Mhm.
yeah, like we have quite some exciting things to talk about. I'm able to share a lot more about our recent developments. And yeah, I don't know if you're excited to go into that or you had some other ideas into mind.
No, no, let's get into it. This is what the people are here for. They want to see how it works, they want to see how everything works on iOS. So, as of right now, it's a closed beta, if I understand correctly.
Yeah,
And you guys are opening it up later this month.
yeah, that's correct. So yeah, we're currently doing our first closed beta on iOS indeed. So this has been a super exciting moment for us because only recently Apple announced iOS 16, where they opened up the screen time API, which made it possible for us to even build Unplug for iOS. Because beforehand, we were also building a solution, but that would work through a VPN and it wouldn't be a very good user experience.
Mm.
So we started building on that, and then suddenly Apple released this new version, and we decided to scrap everything that we've done up until that point and completely start over. And now we're currently at a place where, yeah, we have people using our product. We have around 60 internal beta testers at the moment that are trying to help us find the biggest bugs, and like Jose is one of them. Um, then yeah, like you mentioned, we're opening up the beta to a lot more people this month. So if you're excited about that, you can sign up on unplug.com/iPhone.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a chat here where I can put the
Yep,
link.
there is a chat. I'll put it in as you continue explaining. And of course, you just need to have an iOS app. Is that it? An iOS
You
device. Is that
Yeah, you just need
enough?
an iPhone, and basically it works through test flight. So we need you to sign up there with your Apple ID, and then over time we'll be able to send you a download link, and you need to install test flight first, and then you can install the Unplug beta through there. And yeah, the beta for now is just free to try out for everybody, and yeah, of course we'll start adding more of the functionality in there later. And yeah, we're aiming to release the beta to a lot more people still in February, and then the actual release of the iOS app will happen end of Q1. So
Hmm.
yeah, still some time, but yeah, we do want to really make sure that the user experience there is great.
Yep,
um,
that's
like
awesome.
I saw you already trying to demo a bit, but maybe
Yes,
on my screen it is a bit more visible, and I
yes,
saw your iPhone
absolutely.
was a bit cracked. So
Yes, and that's
uh,
what I was saying. My iPhone cracked on Sunday. I think we talked last week, or was it
true.
on? Yeah, so it was like very close, and I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot make a video because I wanted to make a video
Yeah.
before just to kind of like introduce people to the concept and to how it's working so far.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, yeah, go ahead, please give us a demo with a perfect screen and something
Yeah.
that looks better than
Sure,
mine right
sure.
now.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, basically this is the basic version of the Unplug app at the moment. You can see the schedules here, where you can see, like on Android, we have schedules that you can create, and you can select different barriers for the different schedules also already right from the first version. This was a feature that we later introduced on Android. If I now try to open a distracting app like LinkedIn, you see it will get blocked and you won't be able to access it. Then in order to be able to open it, you go to the Unplug app. You oh, mm, demoing like this, you press access apps, then you get the tag, you scan that, and then you'll be able to open LinkedIn like normal. And with iOS, we do have some limitations that we're still trying to figure out. So currently, like the apps will stay unblocked for 5 minutes, and as a user, you can change that to any type of time that you want. On Android, we also have the feature where you unblock the apps until you lock your phone. This is currently not possible on iOS, so we're still seeing if we can implement other ways. But at the moment, this works pretty good actually. Just if you're scrolling for 5 minutes on LinkedIn, your phone will get automatically blocked again. Um, and next to that, you're still always able to block it yourself automatically by going to the Unplug app and blocking it there. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's the basic functionality of the Unplug app. Of course, we have like a lot of different barriers as well in the Unplug app on iOS. So I just showed you
The tag.
the tag barrier.
Yeah.
Indeed, like I was just changing my schedules at the same time. Maybe that's not a good idea. um, yeah, like on Android, we have multiple barriers that the user can choose from to be able to unblock their distracting apps. So another one is, for example, where you have to press a couple of buttons. Now it's just set to three, but if you press those buttons, then yeah, you're able to change your distracting apps. And
Hmm.
these are the current barriers that we have. So we have the tag. We have that you have to press a couple of buttons. um, we have that you have to shake your phone for a couple of time, or that you have to scroll or scan a QR code, and we have a random one where it chooses between those.
Hmm.
So mm, most of the functionality that is on the Android app will be there, but yeah, on iOS always it's a bit more
Tricky. Yeah, it is tricky.
tricky. Like tricky is
Yeah,
just a good word for that. Yeah.
yeah, they have a little bit more of a lockdown system, but I am definitely glad that this physical barrier is now, going to be something that people can use on their iOS devices. So I know a lot of people, myself included, that sometimes we need to use smart devices for whatever reason. Sometimes it's for work, sometimes it's just because um, we may be in a different town, and you're like, oh well, if I go to a different town, I want to have a smart device in order to not get lost, or order things or get used to
Mhm.
and whatnot. Sometimes it's compatibility, right? Like, smartphones are usually compatible throughout the world. Sometimes dumb
Yeah.
phones may not be. So this is a great add-on to me specifically, because I'm like, whenever I travel, I usually bring both. So I bring my dumb phone and I bring
Ah,
my smart device. So either an Android or an iPhone, But having the unplug tag with me has helped me whenever I take the Android, because it blocks everything, so I don't have access to it. And sometimes what I do even is I leave it in the hotel. So if I'm traveling, I leave it in the hotel and I just go about with Google Maps and, like, things like that.
yeah.
Things that are useful, but that are not distracting, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because over the last couple of months, I've been interviewing a lot of Unplug users, and I've heard so many awesome stories from like our customers that are using the Unplug tag in different ways. Like some people leave the tag in their car when they come home. So they're like,
Mm,
that's a big barrier, right? You have to go outside into your car to be able to access your distracting apps after work.
mhm.
And yeah, like I've even heard people that lock up the Unplug tag in a small safe to have it like as an extra layer of security. Um,
Absolutely.
so it's super interesting to hear. And I heard also other stories where there's people that use the new feature that we have, where you can create like a different schedule, has a different barrier, where they, for example, would lock down Instagram with the tag, but have their normal apps only with a regular barrier. And in that way, they kind of regulated also
Mm,
that they wanted to use Instagram a lot less.
absolutely.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I like that, because we do have a couple questions, but one of them is from Mohammed. He said, "Is that an app that you can install?" And yes and no. Yes, it is an app that you'll be able to install in just a couple of days as they make it available. And if you're interested in signing up for their beta, which is going to be released in the next couple of weeks, unplug.com/iPhone is going to be the place that you need to go to, and that you just put your information in there and you'll be able to try it out. Since you may not have a tag, you can also purchase a tag right there in order to try it out better, but you can also just use the kind of like the other barriers, right? Like the buttons or the
yeah,
slider or the scrolling, like, things of that nature. I'm kind of interested, for people that you have been interviewing, like, uh why was what was the reason, what was the number one reason that you can kind of like just kind of remember, that it was like, this is why I got it? Like, what was the motivation behind everything,
yeah,
if you can
yeah.
kind of
Super
like.
interesting that you asked me that, because the motivations were different for a lot of people, but also you can kind of categorize them. Like one thing that I kept on hearing a lot is that people just were becoming more and more aware of the fact that technology was taking over their lives and was having a negative impact on their well-being. So they mentioned maybe it impacted their sleep, it impacted their they just felt not good when they spent 1 hour
Mm,
scrolling on Instagram or on TikTok. Afterwards they're thinking, actually this doesn't make me feel good, and they started to notice that. Then others really mentioned productivity, for example, at work. But a lot of people also mentioned um, just being able to have time for other activities in their lives. So
mhm,
yeah, so like it's interesting. I have like a quote here from a user that says, this app has been pretty transformative for me of how I look and utilize my free time. Like it helped me get back on track with healthy routines that I try have been trying to cultivate, like reading more and working out more. So it really helps people in a way to become the version of themselves that they want to be, instead of mindlessly wasting a lot of that time on social media, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then another interesting thing that I figured out in talking to all of the users is that um, a lot of the Unplug users actually have tried dumb phones, and
Mm,
they were um, some sense satisfied with it, but found the switch too big, or
mm-hmm.
they found the change to be too drastic, or they found it like still difficult to go about their normal day to day without having the convenience of Google Maps, or maybe they're needing to pay with their phone, or they really need to be able to have their calendar always available. There were
Right.
some different areas there where people felt that there was lacking in the dumb phone options that are currently available, and then they somehow figured out Unplug was a right way for them, where they would just literally, yeah, never use the key or the tag.
Hmm.
But then there were other people that used it regularly and just had the tag always with them. So it was a broad range, but it was super nice to hear that. Yeah.
The fun thing about the tag is that it works both with iOS and it also works with Android. And
Hmm.
since some dumb phones are based with Android, you can
Yeah.
technically use this even further with that. So that's something that's really cool. We have a question from BS Spark. And it is the iOS development sounds brilliant. Do you have plans to try and market this wider? I feel like smartphone addiction is a common problem, and some people won't know they need this until they see it. And I think you are here in the United States that for that very reason. Like Tim, right? Is that one of the
Yeah.
reasons why you came to the States?
Yeah, definitely. So our mission is to help everybody in the world to become more aware of how they use technology, and basically help people to live with their devices instead of through them. So we definitely have the aspiration to make Unplug a lot bigger. And it's super interesting that you mentioned that B-Spark, because awareness, we think, is still the first step, where a lot of people are, like you're saying, unaware that they even would benefit from solutions like this, or they're not sure it exists. So yeah, like, yeah, one thing that we try to do is like let our users, the people that are excited about it, share it with as many other people that are excited about this. And in our app we also try to um, in a way incentivize people to do that, because you'll be able to get 3 months of our product if you invite others. And yeah, and we think like that we're able to grow. And yeah, on the other side, we're trying to build this company out. It
Mhm.
is a lot of work, but it's like, I feel like it's for a good cause. I believe in the product that we've built, and it has helped so many people save a lot of screen time, and yeah, have time for other things in their lives again. So that's
Yeah.
definitely something we're
No,
able.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think the first thing is that you have the Android market, and that's definitely more popular. Well, it's definitely the global trend, right? iOS and Android, and having the Android market is one part of it. But now that you have the
Yeah.
iOS, and that you're going to be part of this, which, by the way, a reminder, if you just hopped into the stream, if you want to sign up for the beta for iPhones, is unplug.com/iPhone. You'll see it right there. But essentially, having that ability to have the iPhone market now, I feel like it's more of like, oh, you're not just targeting a certain, maybe half or maybe 60% of people that use Android. Now you have the whole market.
Yeah.
And that definitely is going to help a lot, since again, this is very helpful, very useful if you have and you practice the mentality, right? Something that I was going to say is like, probably a lot of people that switch to dumb phones found it too much because it's a lifestyle change,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you have to work around a couple things here and there. I know music is one of the big ones that people say, oh, I don't have a Spotify anymore, I don't have Pandora, or I don't have my streaming app, YouTube videos. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that you're leaving behind. But this kind of is an intermediary step. So like, let's say that you want a different lifestyle, but you
Mm.
want it to be a little bit softer. This allows you, and the app allows you to create that barrier. What I really like about you guys is that, because there may be other competitors, right? Like, there are other areas. What I really like is the physical object. So I'm a big believer that physical barriers are definitely a little bit better. But I do believe that there are other kind of like customizations that you can make. And there's space for different people. Like some people prefer the physical barrier, some people prefer the software only.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's super interesting. And I do have a question. It's kind of not related to necessarily like the tag, but it is related in a certain sense. You've been visiting the United States for a month or so, or a couple of weeks now. How long is it?
Yeah, so I've been here since yeah, mid January. So
Mid
like
January.
last
Okay.
month. Yeah.
Perfect. So a couple weeks, you've been here. Do you see any difference in how people interact with their phones here versus Europe? You guys are based in the Netherlands, right? So
Yeah.
like, is there a difference, and why is that? What is there a lifestyle difference that makes you interact more or less, based on your short experience? Seeing how Americans we are consumed by our devices.
Yeah, interesting question. Like to be honest, I haven't noticed a big difference in the way people use their smartphones. Like definitely in Europe, people use their smartphones a lot as well. Um, like the classic picture that I see happening here, but also in the Netherlands, is just everybody waiting on the train or the bus stop is looking at their phone, right? And in general, one thing that I do see, which is that to me it feels like in the US people are a lot more aware of the fact that this is a problem,
Mm,
and I think that that is because problems like this are more in the news here in the US, because
mm,
um, you've been having some news regarding social media being distracting, social media being potentially harmful to teenagers, right? There's lawsuits happening against Meta, for example, about this. So that's like one of the reasons why I think definitely in the US the awareness of this problem is growing a lot faster than in Europe. Although in Europe it's also starting to pick up. One other interesting thing that I saw recently is that there were a couple of articles getting published by major US publishers about Generation Z switching to flip phones.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen
Yep.
those, but
I literally saw one yesterday on the New York Times,
yeah.
about a teen club of Luddites. So essentially, it's yeah, it's in the news more. That's interesting.
So I find that the fact that that is happening, it says something, right? Teens, the people that are like brought up with smartphones nowadays, they've
Mhm.
lived with smartphones their whole lives, well, their whole teens. When they first got a smartphone, maybe when they were 9 or 10, right? And they are now deciding for themselves that it's time to change. They're deciding for themselves that they want to switch to a flip phone, a technology that like they didn't grow up with, that like
Yes,
tones down the amount of impact, the amount of attention grabbing notifications, the amount of distraction, basically. So I was super excited on one end to see that happening, to see that this generation below me even is like also becoming aware of this problem themselves and starting to take action even. And you already also see other smaller organizations starting
hmm,
about based created by teens that are focused on the mental well-being of teenagers because of social media, for example. Yeah.
absolutely. Um, we do have a little bit of exciting news for you guys, and since you have been faithful to continue to watch the live stream, uh, Tim told me that whoever watched the live stream will have the chance to grab three of these, right? Is that what you told me, Tim? Three
Yeah, so
tags.
we will be able to give away 3 tags.
Okay.
So yeah, how would we be able to give those away? Like
Um,
maybe
like what would be the easiest way will be if I do a like a little Google form right now. I think that, or I'll do a, yeah, I know some of you may not like the Google form, but it will just be easier because it's the fastest way. But
yeah,
only we'll give it away right now so that you guys have the ability to sign up. So if you're watching, just give me 1 second as we're doing this live. But I want to kind of like reward, because you guys are the ones interested in this, right? Like you guys have been watching faithfully, and I want you guys to get that opportunity. And I'll give you the results, Tim. We'll just pick, three people, and then we'll
yeah,
just get your email and your name essentially, and maybe a reason why you want the unplug tag, which is, I mean, it's a great product. One more thing that I wanted to say is, um, so so can you show us a little bit more of the functionality and like settings, like things around, like for example, how to create the schedules, things of that nature? If you can show us just like
yeah.
a little bit
Of
of
course,
that.
like you go ahead and make the form, then I'll show a demo of setting up the Unplug app. So yeah, in the Unplug app, you press create schedule. In the top, you can select which days are distracting, which days you want the schedule to be active. So you select Monday, Tuesday to Friday, for example. You can select the day and the time, or you can select always active. And then in here, you can select basically which apps are distracting to you. In a little drop down, you can select which apps you want to block in those times. Let's say I'll select Instagram for now and LinkedIn. Um, and then in the bottom, you can select which distraction barrier you want to use. And the
Hmm.
distraction barrier is the kind of action that you have to take before you can access your distracting apps. And yeah, like I said, you have the unplug tag, tap buttons, shake, scroll, random, and QR code. And actually, something exciting to announce as well is that we today released a new barrier on Android.
Hmm.
Um, so this barrier is called the walking barrier,
Walking
and
barrier. Oh
yeah,
wow. Okay. Okay.
it's
I
connected
like
to
that.
yeah. So it's connected to the Google Health API, and basically what it asks you to do is take steps before you can access your distracting apps. So
Hmm.
it works exactly the same as the other uh, versions, and yeah, it should be out right now on Android. So here you can see it's the walking barrier. I can quickly see if I can get it set up here to show. Um, yeah. So the interesting thing is, like, you would have to walk maybe like 20 steps for you to be able to unlock apps. We thought it's a fun way to combine
Health.
mindful screen time usage
Yeah.
and health. So
Can
um,
you put it, okay? So I'm just thinking here, like if you really want to use your phone, right? Like, I mean, I think of like, if I had to walk, I would like to walk like half a mile. Is that like half a kilometer? Like, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but can you put more steps into it? Is that a possibility?
yes, so the way we now implemented it, it's just like the other barriers where you can select difficulty 1 to 5, and I think the most is like 100 steps at the moment, but we would
Okay.
be we can think about changing that, of course.
Yeah, no, 100 steps. I mean, that's a good amount of steps. 100 steps. You have to literally go. Like, if you live in your house, you either have to walk around the whole house,
Yeah,
and if you're in like an apartment complex or something like that, you will probably have to go downstairs. Maybe do a little loop, and like
true,
you're getting
true.
around this. So yeah, I like that. I really really like that because it encompasses digital wellness and physical wellness, which are
Yeah,
intricately connected. So yeah,
yeah.
go ahead, continue showing us.
Yeah. So let me. Yeah, so like I showed, you can select the walking barrier here, and then you can select the difficulty level of how much steps you actually have to do to be able to get access to your distracting apps. And here you
There
see,
you
for
go.
example, now it says 25 steps. Um, I don't know if it works. If I would have to start walking for it to move, so I won't leave the live stream. But yeah, it's super exciting. We're also probably planning to add this to the iPhone version. We're not 100% sure that's possible. But yeah, we're always excited to add new barriers as well and to improve that experience
uh,
and to help people to become more mindful about how they open their apps.
I really dig the walking one. I think I'm going to definitely activate that one whenever I turn on my Android smart device again.
Yeah,
Whenever that
cool.
happens, whenever it's necessary. But yeah, I really like that one. I think it's very clever. Tim, let me put the so it is in the chat. But if you want to win an unplug tag, make sure to go to forms.google/ whatever that is. But it will be easier to just essentially sign up via the link in the chat. So it is right there in the chat, but you can see it right here. I'll probably leave it open until the end of the day. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going
good.
to just leave it open till the end of the day, if in case somebody likes to catch the live stream.
Hmm.
Just because it will be unfair to people that probably are sleeping right now, and they wake up and they're like, hey, I want to watch it. So I'll give them essentially 18 more hours, which should be enough for the whole world to catch the live stream and have the ability to enter. I think we already have a
Yeah,
couple of people that are um yeah, we already have a couple of people that are signing up. So make sure to put your response in there. It's just name, email, and why do you want an unplug tag. And I'll pass these responses to Tim so that he can choose the winner, and then they'll contact you and have all of the information and stuff like that.
yeah,
Tim, thank you very much so far with everything that you're doing. And we do have a couple of questions here. So one of them is saying, B Spark is saying, geofences will be great. So if you have the ability to do geofencing, I think that'll be a great idea. Similar to the walking. Then, hi Tim, will website unblocking work as well? I used to find that I'll sometimes circumvent apps by just using the web version of apps like LinkedIn. Funny how we're capable to find workarounds. So yeah, so if I block LinkedIn and I go in my browser to LinkedIn, will that block it or no
yeah.
at the moment?
So, super good question. On iOS, we're using the Screen Time API from Apple. So that's the implementation that Apple makes that allows us to block distracting apps. And in that integration, websites are built in. So you can select websites as well to be blocked. You
Okay.
just have to be um somehow the pop-up only shows websites that you've recently visited. So
Mm,
if you want to block a specific website, you need to visit it first, and then it will show up in this list of things that you can select. So
right.
I can maybe
Yeah. So
quickly.
when you're setting it up, what you're saying is that when you're setting it up, essentially what happens is you're setting it up and it gives you a list of websites within the
Yeah.
Screen Time
So
API. There it is.
yeah, so this is the Screen Time API, and here in the social category, you first see all of my apps, right? And if I scroll down, you start to see some websites over there,
Mm.
and you can also select those to block, and that's basically how it works. And then the websites will be blocked with in Safari as well. Yeah,
Oh, that's really good. I mean, if I'm using Safari, then it blocks the websites and I won't be able to access it unless I go back and I have the key, which I
yeah,
think I think excellent. That's good to know. It's good that it allows for that kind of functionality. I mean, I would
yeah,
just block the web browser altogether, but this one's even more granular, right? Like, if you want to just block a certain website because you need to use other websites, that'll be helpful as well. Awesome.
definitely. Yeah,
Awesome. Tim, thank you very much for coming in, even for just this short period, and thank you everyone for watching. Any kind of final words, final things that you would like to share with everybody? And yeah, I mean, again, can you refresh us on the dates that the open beta may be coming in,
yeah.
when people are going to get communication, things of that nature?
Definitely. So yeah, first of all, thank you all for being here and listening and sending in those questions. That's super nice. And thanks, Jose, for hosting. It's always super fun to talk to you. Um, the couple of things that are important is visiting unplug.com/iPhone to sign up for the waiting list. In on there, we'll slowly release the beta to more testers, but yeah, the first private beta that we're going to send out to testers will be out in February, probably mid to end of February. But like I said, it depends on the amount of people that sign up. We'll release it in slow batches. Then, yeah, the actual release date of the iPhone app will be in Q1 of this year.
Mhm.
And if you have an Android phone, you're already able to download the Unplug app at yeah, unplug.com/download, and you can try out the free app over there. We have a 7-day free trial in there, and then you can either choose to use the free version or the premium version of Unplug. That's also up to your decision if you want to use it with or without the tag. So there's also yeah, a software version available for everybody, like that. Then, yeah, one other interesting thing that I thought is good to mention is on our Android app, we've recently also updated that quite a bit to be able to be a lot more reliable.
Mm.
Because Android is a really fragmented ecosystem, it can be difficult for us to make Unplug work exactly well, because a lot of the Android manufacturers, they put their own layer of software on top of Android, which heavily influenced battery optimization, which sometimes kills the Unplug app, which makes the blocking to not work.
Right.
But in a recent version, we've introduced a new feature which allows Unplug to become a device admin, and that should fix a lot of these issues, and also makes the Unplug app even more watertight, where you would be able to prevent yourself from killing the app or even uninstalling.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, this basically makes Unplug on Android even more watertight, and you really won't be able to access your apps if you don't have the tag or don't go through the barrier in general.
So if I hear you correctly, I mean, and this is just because of how it's integrated so far, but on an Android, you even have a higher degree of lockdown.
Possibility. Yeah.
And is it possible now to like not even remove the app
Yeah,
with that admin?
yeah, that's correct. So with this new feature of device admin, we're able to um, basically block the option of you deleting the app. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I know that that was one of the things that a lot of people asked, and now that you guys have this, it's becoming even a more viable solution for Android and, of course, iOS. You know, we're talking about iOS today, but it's really good to hear that even on Android is becoming even more restricted, so that people, hey, I am going to commit to this, and if I leave it at home, I'm screwed. And you know,
Yeah.
that's not a it's not a bad thing, because it teaches discipline. It teaches us to work in different ways.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's always exciting to talk to you. And like, I've also heard you did like a 5-day offline um, session
Yes.
recently, right? And
Yeah,
uh,
a week and a half ago. Yeah, a week and a half ago,
yeah,
I did no internet, and it was great. It was great. It was really good. Learning a lot of lessons. Documented a little bit of it. There's so much that I didn't document just because I was not recording myself all the time. But I had a blast, and I learned a lot of lessons. Actually, my next offline challenge is coming up Friday, so I'll be starting Friday, and I will not touch online until Tuesday of the next week. So even the Super Bowl, I will be able to watch it because other friends, we have a party,
mm,
but I will not be able to use my phone to tweet or interact with the online community about bashing football teams, American football, that is.
yeah,
But yeah, it's gonna be a good experience. Tim, thank you very much for coming into the channel and kind of giving us an update again on the Unplug tag. If you're interested in winning an Unplug tag, this form right here, it's on the chat, will be available for the next probably 18 hours. So I'll probably block it around roughly around 24 hours Mountain Time, so about 18 hours from now, or less, a little bit less actually. I'll
Yeah.
be blocking it, but maybe I'll leave it until tomorrow morning. You get your chances, and if you haven't signed up, make sure to sign up, and Tim then will be able to contact you guys so that you can win. Final word, Tim. As I always like to give my guests the final word. So go ahead, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, so thanks again for hosting, and yeah, it's super exciting to be here. And yeah, like I said, I'm super excited as well to get Unplug out to even more people, further being able to spread products that help improve people's lives and digital well-being to as many as people as possible, right? So yeah, thanks so much for being here, and yeah, I'm excited to see also what you're going to do. I'm also starting to think about maybe doing some full detoxes myself, so I'll let you
Mhm.
know if I do any of those.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you the next time. I'll probably be doing a video once I get another iOS device that doesn't look like mine right now. So probably my wife, she does have an iPhone, so I'll probably be using hers to showcase the functionality more in depth than this video and in a different angle, of course. But thanks for watching today. We'll see you in the next one, and make sure to sign up for all the betas and also to win an Unplugged tag.